For generations, humanity has been captivated by a single, seductive idea. It is the subject of our greatest stories, our deepest regrets, and our wildest dreams. It is the notion that the past is not a final destination, but a place we can revisit. We look at old photographs, we remember lost loved ones, and we replay our mistakes, whispering the same impossible question: what if I could go back? What if I could change it? For as long as we have understood the concept of time, we have viewed it as a prison. We are trapped in the present, moving relentlessly toward the future, while the past remains locked behind us, visible in our memories but forever out of reach. In the realm of science fiction, the solution is easy. You step into a machine, you turn a dial, and the years peel away. You step out into a world of steam engines, or dinosaurs, or a quiet afternoon in your own childhood. But in the realm of physics, this dream has always been met with a cold, hard silence. For over a century, the laws of the universe seemed to post a warning sign on the door of the past. They told us that the timeline is fragile. They told us that if we were to tamper with history, the consequences would be catastrophic. We believed that reality was like a house of cards: remove one card from the bottom, and the entire structure collapses. But what if we were wrong? What if the universe is not a fragile structure waiting to break, but a dynamic, living system capable of healing itself? A groundbreaking study from theoretical physicists in Australia has recently challenged everything we thought we knew about the architecture of time. They have looked deep into the mathematics of the cosmos and found a ghost in the machine. Their findings suggest that the warning sign on the past might be an illusion. They propose that you can go back. You can make choices. You can exercise your free will. And the universe, in its infinite complexity, will simply adjust around you to ensure that the future remains safe. This is the story of how mathematics may have just solved the impossible. Before we unravel this paradox and explore what it means for the future of humanity, if you enjoy these deep dives into the mysteries of the cosmos, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support allows us to continue this journey into the unknown together. To truly understand the magnitude of this discovery, we must first understand the wall that has stood in our way for so long. It is a logical monster known as the grandfather paradox. This paradox is not just a puzzle for philosophers, it is a fundamental barrier in physics. The logic is simple, brutal, and seemingly inescapable. Imagine you possess a time machine. You travel back to the time when your grandfather was a young man, long before he met your grandmother. In a moment of madness, or perhaps by accident, you prevent them from meeting. Perhaps you delay his train, or you introduce him to someone else. As a result, they never marry. They never have children. Your parents are never born. And consequently, you are never born. Here lies the contradiction. If you are never born, you cannot exist to build a time machine. You cannot travel back to the past. And therefore, you cannot prevent your grandparents from meeting. So, they do meet, and you are born, which means you can go back. The loop creates an impossible situation. The cause destroys the effect, and the effect eliminates the cause. For decades, this paradox forced physicists to accept a bleak conclusion regarding time travel. They believed that to preserve the consistency of the universe, free will must not exist in the past. They theorized that even if you could travel back, you would be nothing more than a ghost, an observer unable to touch, unable to speak, unable to move even a single grain of sand. The laws of physics would physically restrain you from changing anything, rendering you a powerless witness to history. This was the accepted dogma. It painted a picture of a universe that was rigid, unyielding, and totally deterministic. Till now. Halfway across the world, at the University of Queensland, two physicists decided to challenge this assumption. Germain Tobar, an advanced science student, and his supervisor, Dr. Fabio Costa, did not approach the problem by trying to build a machine of gears and exotic matter. Instead, they attacked it with pure mathematics. They wanted to know if the equations of general relativity, the map of gravity and time drawn by Albert Einstein, could truly allow for both time travel and free will to coexist. What they found in the numbers was startling. In a study published in the prestigious journal Classical and Quantum Gravity, they presented a mathematical proof that the universe is far more resilient than we ever imagined. Their work revolves around the concept of closed timelike curves. These are loops in the fabric of spacetime, predicted by Einstein's theory, where a path can circle back upon itself, returning to its own past. While these loops have always been mathematically valid, the problem was always how to fit a free agent, a human being making choices, into that loop without breaking it. Tobar and Costa discovered that the mathematics allows for a process of self-correction. They found that the universe behaves less like a rigid, brittle glass and more like a fluid, adaptive system. To explain this, they used a scenario that resonates with the modern world, a global pandemic. Let us imagine a time traveler living in a future devastated by a virus. They know the history. They know the exact moment patient 0 was infected. Motivated by a desire to save humanity, they construct a machine and travel back to that critical moment. Their goal is to stop the infection event. In the old understanding of the paradox, if they succeed, the pandemic never happens. If the pandemic never happens, they have no reason to travel back, and reality collapses. However, the new mathematical model suggests a third option, recalibration. According to Tobar's calculations, if you go back and stop patient 0 from interacting with the virus, the universe does not break. Instead, it adjusts. The timeline is flexible in the details but rigid in the outcome. If you prevent that specific infection, the complex web of probability shifts. Perhaps the virus survives on a surface and infects a neighbor. Perhaps another person enters the room a moment later. Or, in a cruel twist of irony, perhaps you, the time traveler, carry the pathogen yourself. The math implies that the universe will rearrange the local events, the who, the where, and the how, to ensure that the global outcome remains the same. The pandemic still occurs. The motivation for you to travel back remains intact. The loop is closed, consistent, and unbroken. This discovery is profound because it rescues the concept of free will. It implies that a time traveler would not be a puppet on strings. You could walk around in the past. You could choose to order a coffee, speak to a stranger, or intervene in an event. You have agency. But your agency is local. You can change the steps of the dance, but you cannot change the music. The river of time is too wide, too deep, and too powerful. You can throw a rock into the current, and you will create a splash. You will create ripples. The water will flow around the obstacle you created. But downstream, the river still reaches the sea. This concept of a self-healing universe aligns with what we understand about chaos theory and thermodynamics. It suggests that history is a convergence of billions of variables, a massive wave of momentum that cannot be stopped by a single alteration. It paints a picture of a reality that is robust and stable. It is comforting, in a way, to know that our universe is not teetering on the edge of destruction, waiting for a single mistake to erase existence. It suggests that reality is harder to break than we thought. But for the dreamers, this realization carries a heavy, bittersweet weight. It transforms the potential future of human exploration. If we ever develop the technology to navigate these closed timelike curves, a feat that would require the energy of collapsing stars and engineering beyond our current comprehension, our role in the cosmos will change. We will not be the masters of time. We will not be the editors of history, capable of erasing tragedies or undoing great evils. We will be the ultimate tourists. Imagine the missions of the distant future. We could send observers back to the Library of Alexandria before the fires consumed it. They could walk through the halls, read the scrolls, and preserve the knowledge digitally. They could interact with the scholars, debate philosophy, and witness the glory of the ancient world. But they could not stop the fire. The match would still be struck. The scrolls would still turn to ash in that timeline. We could visit the late Cretaceous period. We could stand in the shadow of the dinosaurs and marvel at their majesty. But we would still have to watch the sky turn dark as the asteroid approached. We would be witnesses to the grandeur and the tragedy of existence, unable to alter the course of destiny. This research fundamentally shifts our philosophical place in the cosmos. It answers the question of, can we change the past, with a nuanced yes and no. Yes, you can be there. Yes, you can act. But no, you cannot change the outcome. The universe allows us to participate, but it insists on the final result. It suggests that there is a grand design, or at least a grand momentum, that overrides individual desires. As we look at the stars tonight, we can take solace in the fact that the laws of physics are not arbitrary walls, but complex, elegant systems that protect the integrity of existence. The work of Tobar and Costa has shown us that the timeline is immutable not because we are prisoners, but because the story of the universe is written in ink, not pencil. It allows us to read the earlier chapters, to touch the pages, and to understand the plot with new clarity. But it forces us to accept that the only pages we can truly write are the ones that are blank, the pages of the future. The paradox is resolved. The ghost in the machine has been found. We now know that the past is safe from us, and we are safe from the past. And perhaps that is how it should be. It reminds us that while we can learn from yesterday, our true power, our true agency, and our only real hope lies in what we do with today. The river flows only one way, and we must swim with it, navigating the currents of the present to build a tomorrow that is worth arriving at.